let's go. Hey, are you ready? It's time for the Pwamps Show. Hey, are you ready? It's time for the Pwamps Show. Hey, Pwamps. Hey, Pwamps.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Pwamps.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Pwamps Show, and we are once again talking about sports. It was another major weekend for the sports world. We had a full slate of NFL games on Sunday. We had a major college football Saturday, and the MLB pennant races are continuing to heat up in the final month of the season. A lot of things going down. Let's start with the NFL. We have to have some news to get to. It all starts with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Watch the plays yesterday. If you were watching the game, you would not have thought this was a really serious injury. It kind of looked like the defender just tackled him, grabbed him by the foot. He went down and then just kind of struggled to get up. We're getting some reports. Joe Burrow going to be out probably 3 months or even maybe more. It's a big blow for the Bengals. Jake Browning, he's shown in the past he is capable. It's funny, the last game that I was actually at the Jungle at Paycor Stadium, Bengals played the Minnesota Vikings with Jake Browning at QB trying to get into the postseason. It looks like it's going to be next week's game, the exact same situation. Jake Browning playing Minnesota, but this time in Minnesota. But a lot of question marks for the Bengals. Are they going to... we got 15 weeks of the season still to go. There have only been 2 games played. Do they ride it out with Jake Browning? Do they go and look for a veteran to bring in, or do they get somebody speedy? The offensive line now has been a problem in the years past for Joe Burrow. It comes back to bite him a little bit this year. Do they get somebody speedy? Do they get a veteran? A lot of things there that we're going to keep an eye on for the Bengals. Now, Jaden Daniels, he's also going to be day-to-day. A lot of people have their eyes on the Commanders quarterback. Will he make his next start? Same goes for Josh Allen. He had a bit of a head injury. Nose was really looking bad, and we're going to see if he can play next week. And then another QB, Justin Fields for the New York Jets. He is in concussion protocol right now. We don't know if he's going to make his next start. So a lot of injuries this week. You get some in there during the NFL season where there's just certain weeks where a lot of stars, a lot of key players kind of go, time for me to tap out, and they're out. So we're going to have some really big things to keep looking at this season and this week to see if these guys are back for next week's games. College football, we had some major fireworks. Georgia and Tennessee, what a battle that was. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, what a big-time night it was for college football during that game. Now, the MLB, we've also said it's coming down to the wire. We've got just a couple series left. Some teams still pushing to clinch a potential wild card spot. Still some division titles up for grabs in Major League Baseball. We're going to talk about it all right now on the Pwamps Show. Hey everybody, we are back in front of our NFL helmet board and we are looking at our heat map for week 2. Now, we still have 2 games left to go tonight. It's a Monday night doubleheader. Kind of a special thing in the NFL. You don't get a ton of them. We've got 2 games tonight. One of them is above me. It's the first game tonight at 7 o'clock. You've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to take on the Houston Texans. That is our first game. The second game of Monday Night Football, a 10 o'clock start. The LA Chargers traveling to the Death Star to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Both those teams 1-0. Going to be a big one in the AFC West. Now, let's take a look at my right. These are the teams that had a win this week in week 2. On my left, you've got the teams that had a loss. Now, I will point out on this side here, you've got the 2 spots that are kind of floating empty. We still have 2 games that have to be played. So 4 teams haven't played in week 2. From the Chiefs on, those are the teams that currently sit 0-2 in the NFL. The 0-2 teams right now. You got the Chiefs, you got the Bears, you got the New Orleans Saints, the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, the Tennessee Titans, and the Cleveland Browns. They're currently all sitting in the cellar at 0-2. They're going to want to try to right the ship this coming week. They got some big games with a chance to do it. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this top row on my right. These are the teams that really shine for me in big wins, and we start with the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff, responsible for 5 touchdowns for the Lions offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown finally came alive. Jahmyr Gibbs finally came alive. Sam Laporta showed some real flashes this week, as he did last week. Dan Campbell's got to be pretty happy. They defeat the Chicago Bears in a blowout win at Ford Field in Detroit. I've got them sitting in my top row. Great showing from the Lions. I know a lot of Lions fans were worried with what they saw last week at Lambeau Field. Lions made sure to put those worries to rest. Lions are here, folks. Now, team 2, we got the Atlanta Falcons. This was a big win. Sunday Night Football. A lot of people thinking the Minnesota Vikings and J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, they were going to come out, kind of run the Falcons out of the building at home. It was exactly the opposite. 22-6. Final score. Michael Penix looked really good. The Atlanta Falcons, they get to 1-1 to start the season after a big win in Minnesota. Now, Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold, he goes into Heinz Field to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers were really, really looking forward to this home opener after their big win against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers looked like his old self back in a Packers uniform. Aaron Rodgers struggled. Sam Darnold did not. Kenneth Walker, he was great for the Seahawks. Got to be really happy if you're a Seahawks fan with what you saw in Pittsburgh. Seahawks get the win. They are back to 1-1. Now, as I noted earlier in the show, we talked about Joe Burrow's injury. I have the Bengals up here, and here's why. Joe Burrow left this game early. The offensive line was really struggling to hold a block. He was getting chased all over the field. It finally came back to bite him. He goes down with the injury. Bengals fans thinking, this is a really tough time now. I don't know if we're going to win this game. In comes Jake Browning. I tell you, the Jags were in control a lot of this game. Bengals defense came up with some key turnovers, looked really, really good. But Jake Browning comes in, and he does what he's been doing, and he did just a couple seasons ago. He kept the Bengals in these games, kept them close, had some key passes to Jamar Chase that really kept the Bengals in the hunt. And I tell you, Bengals, big win over the Jags. This game could have gone either way. Texans are going to want this one back. The Jaguars are going to want this one back. And the Bengals get it out, though. They get to 2-0 and start the season 2-0. Last time they started the season 2-0 was the year they got to the Super Bowl, folks. And I know that was with Joe Burrow, but it now looks like Jake Browning is going to be in charge of the Bengals offense. Now, we pivot to my left. Here are the 4 teams that stood out to me, even though it was in a loss. We're going to start with the New York Giants. Giants go to AT&T Stadium in Dallas, take on the Dallas Cowboys. I can tell you, not a lot of people had any hope that the Giants would go into Dallas and get a win. This was another Game of the Year candidate. Dak Prescott was on fire. Russell Wilson put up career numbers, some career highs from him in this game, and this was a nail-biter. Came down to Brandon Aubrey forcing overtime. I mean, you talk about a huge leg from Brandon Aubrey. He forces the game going overtime, and then we get to OT, and Aubrey again puts the Cowboys on his back. Cowboys get to 1-1. But I tell you, the Giants looked good. They were competitive the whole time. Defense played really well. And like we said, if Russell Wilson can play like he did in this game in Dallas, there's a chance the Giants might surprise a couple people. Giants look good. They're still sitting at 0-2, but they played really well in Dallas. Now, we jump to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like we said, Trevor Lawrence had some really good showing. He had a couple of early turnovers against the Bengals. Bengals defense, we know they've been giving up a lot of points, but they're playing a little bit better. Trevor Lawrence looked good. I tell you, Travis Etienne, he looked good. How about guys like Travis Hunter playing on the defensive side and the offensive side of the ball? He looked pretty comfortable, the Heisman winner out of Colorado. Jags, tight loss, but they look good. Now, we move to the Carolina Panthers. Panthers, Bryce Young really played well today. I mean, just yesterday in this game, they traveled to Arizona. Arizona Cardinals are playing well. Kyler Murray's looking really good. Panthers now had another tight game where they kind of get down to the wire. It's a one-possession loss. Panthers showed me some things. They look like they can compete. It'll be fun to watch the Panthers as this season goes on. Now, we get to the Denver Broncos. And a lot of people, I had them last week. Daniel Jones was the talk of the NFL league. I did not have the Colts in my top row this week. They could have been, but I decided these were the four that I really was impressed by. But the Colts did impress me. A lot of people, again, were thinking that the Broncos would come in there and they would take it to the Colts. Colts opened their season with 2 straight home games. Geez, Daniel Jones looked good. Michael Pittman, he's proving right now at the start of this year, he's an elite receiver in the NFL. The Broncos, though. Bo Nix showed some positive signs. J.K. Dobbins had a couple key runs in this game for the Broncos. But Broncos are now sitting at 1-1 in the AFC West. AFC West is proving right now to be one of the toughest divisions in football. That was a big game. That's how it looks right now. My 4 top losers of the week: Giants, Jags, Panthers, Broncos. Top winners: Lions, Falcons, Seahawks, Bengals. And now, let's go ahead and take a look at week 3 of the NFL season. All right, everybody, it is time to get ready for another week of the NFL season. Week 3, to be exact. And as always, we kick things off with Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. Who do we have kicking off this week? It's the Miami Dolphins traveling to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. This is a major game for the Dolphins. Tua and the guys have got to respond. They're sitting at 0-2 to start the year. If you go on to start a season 0-3, your odds of making the playoffs drop dramatically. This is a huge game, an AFC East rivalry, and a major opportunity for the Dolphins to right the ship and get the season started and back on track here in week 3 in Buffalo. But Josh Allen, with that broken nose, we're going to see he's probably like Rocky Balboa. Yeah, Adrian. Anyway, Bills, Dolphins, Thursday night, that kicks off our week. Now we jump to Sunday. 1 o'clock, it's the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Bengals sit at 2-0, Vikings sit at 1-1. Bengals are adapting to life without Joe Burrow. They've got to get it going. Jake Browning, he's got the pressure of now being a starter in the National Football League. It's going to be tough, but I'm excited to see how it goes for the Cincinnati Bengals. For the Vikings, it's really interesting. Justin Jefferson, he's been playing with a ton of confidence. J.J. McCarthy, in week 1, second half, he had a lot of confidence. Second game, J.J. really struggled against the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of people thought they were going to win that game. They kind of got outplayed big time, folks. Falcons looked really good. Vikings did not look great at home. They've got a chance to correct that for the fans week 3 on Sunday at 1 o'clock against the Bengals. Next, we move on to the Steelers and the New England Patriots. Aaron Rodgers, rough game just a couple days ago. He's going to look to get things back on track for the Steelers. The offense was not putting up a lot of points. Went back and forth for a little while. The Seattle Seahawks, though, Sam Darnold, those guys really played well, made the Steelers make some mistakes. Actually, Mason Rudolph came in to the very end of the game, but Steelers couldn't get it done. Patriots, Drake May, he's looked really good. Patriots are coming along a little bit. Ramondre Stevenson, he's running the ball well. If the Patriots can get a big win over the Steelers at home, they're going to be 2-1, and they might be on a little hunt in the AFC East. That's a fun one to watch Sunday, 1 o'clock. Next, we get to the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward has looked good for the Titans. They haven't been able to get a win yet, but he's showing some promise and some potential that he might be a real starter in the NFL. The Colts, Daniel Jones, he's put a lot of people on notice. He's throwing the ball well. He's running the ball well. Colts are putting up a lot of points, folks. Had a huge win over the Denver Broncos. A lot of people thought the Broncos would go into Indy, get a win. No, Daniel Jones, he had other plans. Colts are 2-0. They're heading to Tennessee to try to get to 3-0, while the Titans are another 0-2 team who do not want to start the season 0-3. They're at home with a chance to get off the schneid and get to 1-2. Colts, Titans, Sunday, 1 o'clock, another big-time game in the AFC South. Now, we still have the AFC South going. It's the Houston Texans traveling to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jags played yesterday against the Bengals. They looked really good, came up just a little short. Trevor Lawrence had a couple of costly interceptions. Offense played well. We got to see Travis Hunter play both sides of the ball. He looked as comfortable as he did in college doing so. Had a pass interference that a lot of people say wasn't pass interference. I've seen that go both ways in the NFL. Could be called, may not be called. It was called, it was kind of costly. Jags came up just a little bit short. This is a big game at home. The Texans, they play tonight hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So right now, I know we're in week 3 of the season. They're only sitting at 0-1. They play the Buccaneers tonight. C.J. Stroud looking to beat Tampa Bay, but then you got to look forward to the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. The offense has played a little better. They struggled against the Rams in week 1. Not a ton of points. C.J. Stroud had a bit of an off game. Going to be really fun to watch, though, how this game goes down between the Texans and the Jags. That is Sunday at 1 o'clock. Now, we keep moving. The Atlanta Falcons, who again, Michael Penix showed a lot of poise in that game over the Minnesota Vikings. I know a lot of people were excited to see Michael Penix and J.J. McCarthy go at it as it was a rematch of the national championship game between Michigan and Washington when they were both starting quarterbacks in college. J.J. McCarthy obviously came out on top. Well, Michael Penix made sure that did not happen again last night. Michael Penix looked great. Falcons looked great. Bijan Robinson looked excellent as well for the Atlanta Falcons. They're playing the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young, like I said, he looked really good last week. Now, I know the Panthers, they're sitting at 0-2, but they're a strong 0-2. They've played some really competitive games, haven't really been blown out. Panthers have a chance for a big win, and again, they're another 0-2 team. You don't want to go 0-3. Big battle here between the Falcons and the Panthers. That's 1 o'clock on Sunday. Now, we move to the LA Rams, 2-0 and looking good. Matthew Stafford looking great. Puka Nacua looking great. Sean McVay's very happy over there in the sweatpants and his long sleeve shirt, his little athletic shirt. He's feeling good about it. Philadelphia Eagles, they're 2-0. They're still the defending Super Bowl champs, and they have looked mighty good. They just went into KC last weekend. Taylor Swift, of course, was in attendance. Apparently she was hiding behind a barrier. She wanted to be separated from people seeing her in the club level. I don't know. It's a big, long story. Eagles and the Rams. It's going down in Philadelphia. Going to be a heck of a battle. Two 2-0 teams. Probably the headlining game of the 1 o'clock session. You don't want to miss it. 1 o'clock on Sunday. Now, we move to our next game. It's the New York Jets and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, like I said, they play tonight against the Houston Texans. The Jets are still 0-2, and there's some question marks for the Jets. We do not know if Justin Fields is going to be healthy going into this game. Last report we had, he is in concussion protocol. Obviously, if he's cleared, you would expect him to play in this game. If he's not cleared, the Jets may have a problem in Tampa Bay. Buccaneers are a favorite to win the NFC South, and they're a good team. This will be a really tough game for the Jets if Justin Fields is not cleared. That game's 1 o'clock on Sunday, and now we turn to my left side of the board where we're still at our 1 o'clock session. Big game here. The Las Vegas Raiders. They're hosting the LA Chargers tonight at 10 p.m. in the doubleheader of Monday Night Football. They're traveling to take on the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels, he's another quarterback who got banged up in week 2. Right now, he's day-to-day. We don't know if he's going to make a start this game. Raiders are 1-0. They play tonight. Could be 2-0, could be 1-1. Commanders sit at 1-1, though. Zach Ertz is playing like one of the best tight ends in the NFL, but I'm really intrigued to see how this one plays out. If Jaden Daniels is back, this is going to be one of the best games of the week. If the offense for the Commanders is missing Jaden Daniels, it's going to be a really interesting one Sunday at 1 o'clock, folks. Now, last game of the 1 o'clock slate, it's the Green Bay Packers, who have looked like potentially the best team in the NFL through 2 weeks, traveling to take on the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns have really struggled. I mean, the Browns, they're in the dog pound, literally. They are in the dog pound. Joe Flacco showed a couple of little things in their last game against the Ravens, but you're playing the Ravens. Playing the Ravens in Baltimore. That's one of the toughest places to play at M&T Bank Stadium. Lamar Jackson, these guys, they put up 41 on the Cleveland Browns, and they did it with ease. The Browns defense really struggled. Myles Garrett had a couple of sacks in there. He was still himself playing really well. The Browns are trying to avoid an 0-3 start, while the Packers are 2-0, and they're looking like they're just getting started with Jordan Love at the helm of this team. Going to be a big game, finishing off the 1 o'clock slate on Sunday. Now, we move to our 4 o'clock slate, AFC West matchup. A lot of people have said AFC West, best division in football. I stand by that. Broncos, 1-1. Bo Nix hasn't looked like himself so far to get the season started, and this is a major game. You're in LA. You're in Hollywood. Massive game. This is where the stars shine the brightest. Bo Nix has a chance to come out, let people know he's back and he's an elite QB in this league. Justin Herbert, though, he's looked phenomenal. The Chargers' offense has looked excellent. Keenan Allen has looked great. Ladd McConkey, he's looked excellent for the Chargers. So many weapons on both sides of the ball for these guys. This is going to be a shootout. Broncos, Chargers, 4 o'clock, kicks off the 4 o'clock slate on Sunday. Now, we move down here. We've got the New Orleans Saints and the Seattle Seahawks. Saints, another team that's 0-2. They're trying to avoid 0-3. Spencer Rattler showed some promise this last week. He played a really good game, threw a couple of touchdowns. He's going to look to go into Seattle and knock off Sam Darnold and the Seahawks offense. Cooper Kupp, he had a couple of big catches for the Seahawks. He's finally starting to prove that he's back and he's never left. He hasn't lost a step. Seahawks, 1-1. Saints, 0-2. That is 4 o'clock on Sunday. Now, we move to the Cardinals and the 49ers. This is an interesting game. NFC West battle. Cardinals are 2-0. Niners are 2-0. Not a lot of people had the Cardinals going 2-0, but they have, and they've looked really good in doing so. Kyler Murray is playing really well. They're still looking for Marvin Harrison Jr. to just pick it up just a little bit, be a little bit more of an impact player. He's getting there. He's going to be a threat, folks. The Niners, major test. Mac Jones was able to hold down the fort this last week. They got a big-time win, got to 2-0, but you're still looking like you're going to be without Brock Purdy. The Cardinals are looking to feast on this one. Levi Stadium, very tough place to play, but this is a big game between two 2-0 teams. It's on Sunday at 4 o'clock. Finally, our last 4 o'clock game of the day on Sunday, it's the Dallas Cowboys, 1-1, traveling into Chicago, into Soldier Field. This is a big one. Cowboys, Dak Prescott has looked really good. CeeDee Lamb has looked great. Offense finally came alive. Was there a little scare for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys team? Yeah, there was. The Giants took them down to the wire. We're talking an overtime kick to force overtime, and then a game-winning kick to avoid a tie as time expired. Cowboys got to win. They're 1-1. I wouldn't be feeling very calm, though, right now. The Bears, they're another one of those teams that sit at 0-2. The offense has been playing pretty well. Caleb Williams looking pretty good. DeAndre Swift, he's running the ball well, but the Bears have got to avoid an 0-3 start. This is a major game to watch because if you're a Cowboys fan, if you come out and you win and the team plays a complete game, you go into Soldier Field and you get a big-time win, you're going to be feeling a little better. You're going to be 2-1 to start the year. If you lose, the red flags are going to be off. They're going to be going off big time. Bears need a win. Huge game, 425, Cowboys, Bears. Then we get to Sunday Night Football. Who do we have? It's the 0-2 Kansas City Chiefs. 0-2. That's a rarity for Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. They don't like to hear that. Isaiah Pacheco, those guys do not like to hear 0-2. They're traveling to take on the New York Giants. So here's the good news. Both these teams are 0-2. They're on the schneid. One of them is going to get off the schneid and be 1-2 when this game comes and when this game goes. So, Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, these guys need a performance out of Patrick Mahomes. He struggled a little bit early this season. Didn't play a great game against the Eagles. Didn't play a great game against the Chargers. But this is Patrick Mahomes we're talking about. He's going to bounce back. Travis Kelce, he's looked great. He had a costly drop that led to an interception against the Eagles. It was game-changing. They're going to be looking to really get things figured out and get their first win as they go into New York. Russell Wilson put up some great numbers last weekend. Giants need a win. Both teams trying to avoid 0-3. You could almost look at this game like a very early season potential elimination game when it comes to the postseason. One of these teams, if you're 0-3, it's not looking good. So that's Sunday night, which leads me to our final game of week 3 of the NFL season. It's Monday night, and it is again a colossal matchup. The Detroit Lions traveling to M&T Bank Stadium to take on the Baltimore Ravens. You see these two teams, you think immediately fireworks and potential Super Bowl matchup. I mean, in reality, it could be. Lions, a lot of people have said best team in the NFC. We know they struggled against the Packers. They corrected that against the Bears. The Bears are 0-2, so there's still some warning flags out there. That's an 0-2 team that you just clobbered. You took Fred Flintstone's baton, you whacked him over the head. 52-17, 52-20, you're against the Bears. They're 0-2. They're trying to right the ship. Are we going to see some real fireworks from the Lions? We're going to find out in this game because they're playing the Baltimore Ravens. 1-1, 2-0. Lamar Jackson, these guys are at home. These Ravens fans are hungry to see this team play some football at home. Derrick Henry, he's ready to run rampant over the Lions. The Lions say, We're going to find out. Monday night, folks, Lions at Ravens. And that is our week 3 schedule of the NFL. It's going to be another great week of football. All right, folks, week 4 of the college football season is here. It's week 4. We've got my featured 4 on my right, and we've got my other 4 that you've got to watch this week in college football. Let's jump into it. Here we go. Starting things out, it's Tulane. The Waves taking on the Ole Miss, the Rebels of Ole Miss. This is a big game. Tulane's currently sitting at 3-0. They have not lost this year. Ole Miss, they're 3-0. They continue to climb up the top 25 rankings. Big test for Tulane. Can they compete with the big boys? We're going to find out. Big game in Ole Miss. You don't want to miss it. That's at noon on Saturday. It'll be a fun one to watch. Then we jump to North Texas. North Texas, they've won 3 in a row. They're looking pretty good out of Conference USA. They're traveling to take on Army. This is going to be a back-and-forth battle. Army's 1-1. They had a bye in week 3. They're now ready to compete, folks. And here's what's tight. I don't bring this up a lot on the show. Army they're a 1.5-point favorite at home over a 3-0 North Texas team. It's going to be a fun one. Keep your eye on it. Noon on Saturday. Now, we get to 7:30 p.m. on NBC, Big Ten action, Illinois. Luke Altmaier, the quarterback, leads this team. He's playing really well, really poised, and Illinois is looking good. For the first time in a while, they're a top 10 team. The Fighting Illini in the top 10. They're traveling to Indiana to take on the Hoosiers of IU. Going to be a great game. When these two get together, a lot of times it's a battle, and you love battles inside the Big Ten. This will be a fun one. 7:30 on NBC on Saturday night. A top 20 battle in the Big Ten. Now, we get to 11 o'clock kickoff. Michigan State, go green. USC, fight on. Mr. Maeva for USC. And guess what? The Spartans are playing pretty well. Past couple years, Spartans have really let some fans down on the football side. Basketball team's always really reliable. Tom Izzo's got those guys in shape, whipped up, and the basketball program always is kicking tail. The football team, I can't say the same, but hey, I hear a little bit of the winds of change. Michigan State's 3-0. Big test, though. They travel all the way across the country, get to Los Angeles, California, to take on Lincoln Riley and this USC football team that is a high-powered offense. That is 11 o'clock Saturday night. So for all you late night owls, that's one to watch. 11 o'clock Saturday night. Michigan State, not in the top 25 yet, but they're taking on number 25 ranked, the USC Trojans. That's a fun one at the Coliseum. Now, here are my other 4 we have to watch this week. Big game, top 20 matchup, Texas Tech taking on the Utes of Utah. This is a major game, folks. A lot of implications here. Who's going to move up the rankings? Who's going to slide a little bit? 18 Texas Tech, 16 Utah. It's a tight one. You love to see these tight top 25 matchups. This is a treat. This is noon on Saturday. You're going to want to keep your eyes on this one. Now, interestingly enough, we have another game that's kind of fun to keep an eye on. Bowling Green, the Falcons out of Bowling Green, Ohio, out of the MAC, traveling to take on the Cardinals of Louisville. Now, Louisville sit currently right now at 2-0. They've had a couple of good weeks. They're looking solid. Bowling Green struggled in week 1. They've been able to rebound. They got 2 wins. They've now won 2 straight. They're going into Louisville. Big test here. One of my favorite basketball arena names, by the way, is the KFC Yum Center, and that's Louisville's arena. That name is just a riot, the Yum Center. Anyway, Louisville at home taking on Bowling Green. Like I said, major test for the Falcons. They're trying to get a big win. It would be a big statement win for the Falcons to go into Louisville and get this win. That game Saturday afternoon as well. BG traveling to Louisville. Now, another top 25 matchup. Auburn, the Tigers, traveling to Oklahoma and Boomer Sooner in a big top 20 matchup. Auburn, they finally have crept into the top 25. They're sitting right now at number 22 in the country, looking to make a little splash and get further into those rankings. Oklahoma right now right inside the top 20. This is a major game. 7:30 Saturday night, Auburn and OU. It's one to watch. Now, I brought up Michigan State and USC, and you're probably thinking, okay, 11 o'clock start time. That's as late as we're going to go. No. It's not, folks. It's not. We've got the Fresno State Bulldogs traveling across the pond to take on the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. And guess what time this game starts? 11:59 kickoff. So I'm almost going to go out and say we've got Sunday morning college football. I mean, for us, think about it. They kick the ball off. It's already midnight. It's Sunday morning. So Fresno State and Hawaii. And guess what? This is a good little battle. 2 teams right now in the Mountain West that are pushing for the top position, both sitting with 1 loss each and looking pretty dang solid. That's a good treat. That sounds like a good little bit of dessert to me. I picture Bob's Big Boy little hot fudge cake turning the game on. I don't know, that sounds pretty awesome. Fresno State, Hawaii, 11:59 on Saturday night / Sunday morning. That is how we're looking in the college football world for week 4 of the season. It's going to be enjoyable, to say the least. Coming down to the wire, we've got about 2 weeks left of the season. Teams are getting to their last few series. It is getting intense. Let's take a look. We've got the heat map back. Let's dive in. Here we go. Starting with the American League. I'm going to start from the bottom up because we've actually got some things to do here. The LA Angels. I love you. I said last time that we were on this show talking about the Angels. I said, hey, maybe there's some Angels in the outfield that can propel the Angels into a wild card spot for the postseason. Angels, see ya. It's not happening this year. Mike Trout, 12 years now. We've been with you. We've been wanting to see you get into the postseason. We couldn't do it even when Shohei was on the team, and it's not happening this year. Angels missing the postseason again. They are officially off our American League heat map. They're gone. I'm so sad. I need a minute. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's get into the next team, the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays, again, I'm so sorry to do this. I'm going to take my hand, grab another helmet off the board. Rays, look how stingy they're being. They don't want to come out, but you are. They're done. Rays, out of here. 7.5. You got a lot of teams to pass. 2 weeks to go in the season. It's not happening. Rays, always next year. This year, though, your season is over. I'm sorry. And we got the Kansas City Royals. They're sitting on the same row. They were right next to the Rays. Philip, are you going to do what I think you're going to do? I am. I'm going to reach over one more time. Okay, they came off. They didn't give it much of a fight. But the Royals, they're out of here. Royals, it's not your year again. You're out of the race, but there's always next year. Now, we turn our attention to our top 2 rows. 4 helmets on each line and some division races that are getting really tight. Here's the first move we're going to make. I'm not grabbing a helmet to throw it to the side. I'm going to switch a spot. The AL West, now in first place, it's the Seattle Mariners. Mariners have looked strong, folks. They've been on a major winning tear, and they now have the lead in the AL West over the Houston Astros. But hey, 2 weeks to go in this season. This is a tight race. Mariners are up, hanging on by about a game. Then you've got the Astros, and hey, it doesn't end there. The Rangers are still floating. Only a couple games back in the division. Rangers are also hanging around for that last wild card spot. The AL West, probably the most competitive division right now in baseball in the American League, to see who ends up winning the division and which AL West team can secure a wild card spot. So there you go. That was my flip. Mariners are in first, Astros to our second row. Cleveland Guardians, they're 2.5 out of the final wild card spot. Have some teams to pass. Nomi Ramirez still playing really well. These guys are in good shape. They're trying to make a late season push. 2.5 out. They're in row 2. It's possible. It's possible, folks. Now, the American League East, as always, you love to see how competitive this division is. And it's a shocking year because it's still, the Red Sox and the Yankees are not leading this division. It's still the Toronto Blue Jays. Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr. These guys are pummeling the ball right now. They've got them feeling pretty good in the AL East. George Springer also, as always, doing what he does when it comes to clutch time. He's a big postseason player. I know he hurt my Astros. He hurt my Dodgers. The Astros played the Dodgers. George Springer, give me nightmares. But he's a good player. Blue Jays right now, first in the AL East. Now, what else do we have? AL Central, Tigers still holding the lead. They have got that division on lock. They're going to be in the postseason. You are going to see the Detroit Tigers in the American League postseason play come October. Tigers have looked great. I mean, I've been saying that for weeks. Tigers have been, if not the best team in baseball, they're darn up there. They are close to being the best team. And they're complete right now. Guys are healthy. They look very strong. So then you got the Yankees. They're 8.5 clear of missing the playoffs. They're a wild card team at the very least. They're still chasing the Blue Jays. I'm going to give the Blue Jays the division, but the Yankees are in it and the Red Sox are in it. That is how the American League looks right now. You've got 8 teams and you've got a little race for the last wild card spot. It comes down to the Rangers. It comes down to the Guardians. The Astros are in that spot right now because they swapped spots with the Mariners. But keep an eye on the AL West to see how that plays out in the division and in the wild card race as the American League finds out who's going to be in the postseason. Let's turn to the National League. We've got quite a few teams still on this board, more than we had in the American League. The New York Mets probably just had one of the worst stretches they've had their entire season. They had lost 10 of 11 games. It looked like they were going to lose once again. They lose the first 2 games in their series against the Rangers. It's looking really bad. They go to extra innings. Okay? Extra innings. There's a runner starting on second base. It's a ghost runner for the kids. And Pete Alonso. He does what he does best. He hits a homer, 3-run shot. The Mets end their losing streak. And right now, the Mets are feeling good. They're holding that wild card spot. I'm starting here because here's the story then with these next 4 teams. They're breathing down the Mets' necks. And these are 4 competitive teams, folks. San Francisco Giants. Boy, the Giants have been on a tear. I don't know of another team that's looked better in all of baseball except maybe for the Tigers. The Giants are winning games. They really took it to the Dodgers just this past weekend. Had the Dodgers on the ropes. That was a fun series to watch. You always love to see the Giants and Dodgers play in a big rivalry series. That was great. Cardinals are sitting 4.5 out right now, the last wild card spot. They've got some teams to pass. You got to pass the Giants. You got to pass the Diamondbacks. Got to pass the Reds. But the Cardinals are always a team that comes September and October, they show up ready to play. Let's see how it finishes out for the Cardinals this season. Then you got the Arizona Diamondbacks. Corbin Carroll. He's a speed demon. This guy is a great player. He's trying to push the Diamondbacks into that final wild card spot. Can they? We've got 2 weeks to find out. Couple series hanging out. That's it. Diamondbacks are still in this race, folks. Then we turn our attention to a team that has just been agonizing. Absolutely agonizing. The Cincinnati Reds. They're only 2.5 games out. But you talk about a missed opportunity this past weekend. They had come off a big series win. They were feeling like, okay, hey, we could potentially chase down the Mets. They actually were within about a game of the Mets. They're going to play the Athletics. Not Oakland Athletics, by the way. They're just the Athletics. They'll be the Las Vegas Athletics. I don't know when, hopefully soon, but they've been sticking with just word the Athletics right now. Okay. They go to the Athletics, and they get swept. The whole story for the Reds has been, hey, we haven't been swept all season. Yeah, they lost a series before this Athletics series, but to the A's. Oh, painful. Painful. Anyway, just heartbreaking. But now it gets tight. The Reds are trying to get back in this race, and they play their division to end the season. Here's who they have left. They're going to take on the Cubs in a series. They're going to play the Brewers their last couple games of the season. They're going to play the Pirates. And then it's going to be all coming down to also this next series where they're going to be playing the St. Louis Cardinals. It's huge. This series right here, we're getting a little playoff early action because the loser of this series between the Reds and the Cardinals, we're going to be down to about 9 games, folks, and it's going to be really tough, whoever loses that series. That's how we're looking right here. Mets are currently in the spot while these 4 chase. Padres, they're still after the Dodgers. They're within reach. Couple games is all that separates these two. Major storyline again, they don't play. Usually the Dodgers and Padres have a series in September. They didn't. Their last series was in August. That's early for those two teams. Mookie Betts is finally batting a little better. Shohei is trying to chase once again a 50-50 season. He wants to get his 55th home run. That could be happening any night, so keep an eye on that if you're a Dodger fan. And then what about the Cubs? Boy, the Cubs have been playing great. They're in the wild card, no doubt about it. Brewers are going to win the NL Central. That's looking pretty firm. And now we get our eyes on the Philadelphia Phillies, who their magic number just a couple of days ago was around 13. It's now down to like 3 or 4 games. Phillies have been great. Kyle Schwarber, you talk about a guy who can hit the ball out of the park. He's one to watch. And then, of course, you have Bryce Harper. You've got Trey Turner. I mean, the Phillies are a loaded team. It's going to be fun to watch the NL when the postseason starts. It's going to be fun to watch the AL when the postseason starts. And that's how we're looking right now. That's how it looks with about 2 weeks to go in this postseason race. Do not take your eyes off the baseball world. It's going to be a fun finish, and I'm here for it. Let's get some tickets. Let's go. I want my popcorn.